Baldur's Gate 3 has some absolutely fantastic companions who join you on your journey. Some, admittedly, are not as great as others, like Wyll here. In combat, Wyll is a Pact of the Fiend warlock, which can feel a little hit and miss as he's not really the strongest damage dealer available, especially when compared to fellow spellcaster Gale. While he is somewhat useful early on, Wyll's inability to hit basically anything with an Eldritch Blast, also known as 90% of what 5th edition warlocks do, has become a bit of a meme among players of Baldur's Gate 3. Not terrible, but not exactly great. Karlach is easily one of the fanbase's favorite companions to romance, for what I feel like are obvious reasons. Forced to fight in Avernus in the Blood War, Karlach is wonderfully joyful about being back on the Sword Coast and has some genuinely adorable moments for a weird demon lady. As a barbarian, she is a fantastic tank, however lacks the versatility of other melee companions. And how much you take her on missions really depends on the party composition. Have fun taking her to bed though. Minthara is a drow paladin who serves the Absolute, who is sort of a counterpoint to Halsin the Druid, with players being forced to basically choose one or the other. For players looking for an evil Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, Minthara is great, and as a paladin can cover a few different roles in combat. Speaking of Minthara, hey look, it's Halsin the Druid, just narrowly squeaking ahead of her on the ranking. Just like Minthara, no matter what, Halsin won't actually be a full companion until Act 2, where players learn he has some history with the cursed landscape they now find themselves traveling. Although Halsin is an archdruid, he doesn't command that kind of power in game because balance. However, he is still an extremely versatile party member capable of serving as a tank, damage dealer, or support where needed. Gale is one of the earliest companions you can get, and as such has a lot of opportunities to shine throughout the story. Gale's backstory, just like with all of the Baldur's Gate 3 origin characters, is wonderfully written, with lots to uncover as he opens up to the player. In combat, Gale is amazing, with numerous spells to cover every situation. As a fighter, Lae'zel is one of the most versatile companions in the entire game, able to use all weapons and armor and capable of fulfilling many different combat roles for the party. And while her brash and cold personality can make her a bit hard to warm up to, she will gradually trust players more and more as they earn her respect. So if you want to romance this Githyanki beauty, be ready to prove your might in combat just as much as your smooth talking. Shadowheart is one of the easiest companions to get along with, which is handy since she's also one of the earliest ones that you gain access to, making growing a relationship with her a lot easier. In combat, Shadowheart is invaluable if you aren't playing a support class, as her healing and powerful buffs are much needed in the early levels, especially if you have chosen a more frontline class. If you're like me and you grew up playing the original Baldur's Gate and its sequel, you no doubt remember Jaheira the Druid, and what a welcome sight she is in Baldur's Gate 3. Although many players will be excited to see her, there are quite a few ways for her to actually die before she can properly join the party, and her recruitment is a little long-winded with multiple steps. However, she is well worth the effort as she is a fantastically flexible party member. I can't think of anyone who doesn't enjoy traveling with a charming high elf with a dark backstory such as Astarion. In fact, the only way that he could be cooler is if he was like a vampire or something. Wait, he is? In combat, Astarion is amazing, with his sneak attack absolutely decimating lower level foes. As a rogue, Astarion is the best companion for stealth, lockpicking, and disarming traps, and as players progress, his sneak attack just gets better, bringing in some absolutely insane damage. And finally, the best companion of all of Baldur's Gate 3 is someone who is probably second only to Drizzt in regards to famous denizens of the Forgotten Realms. That being Minsc the Ranger. Acquired late in the game, appearing in Act 3, he isn't someone that you get to use a lot, but being able to use such an iconic character at all is incredible. And I mean, the guy has a pet hamster named Boo. How could I not love him?